Gentleman Knight here with your nightly news for everything DC Entertainment for everyone thirsty for that news. So, you all know about the DCU movie slate. I'm not going to necessarily list the movies, but we're going to go through some of my thoughts and opinions, and we're going to do it in a cold open. Here is Superman ice cream. Really delicious. Got it from a local ice cream shop called The Sweet Spot. Please look at my video for a little bit of information about that location. But in terms of, we'll go into the ice cream first. Superman ice cream. So regionally, this ice cream differs from wherever you go. Sometimes, depending on where you go, this tastes more like a Starburst. But in other locations, it tastes more like a mixture of cotton candy mixed with bubble gum, and it's delicious. And this is my ice cream of preference. It's absolutely delicious. So I'm going to take a scoop of it and then start talking about our thoughts on the DCU as announced by DC Studios yesterday. Delicious. So anyway, guys, you can't just have one scoop. Superman ice cream. Look at all those colors. You got, it's almost more pinkish, but you got blue. You've got like more of a pink, even though it should be more of a red. You've got stripes of yellow. Very patriotic, Superman-esque ice cream. And this is not something that you're going to find in Walmart. You'll find Superman ice cream, but it's totally different. This is delicious. You're going to see more of this type of ice cream in some of your mom and pop ice cream parlors. But again, you're going to get two different types of flavors depending on which Superman that they're serving. Either the Starburst or the cotton candy slash ice cream type of flavor. And this hits the spot. I had this as a kid and highly recommend Superman ice cream. In my opinion, more rare to find this latter flavor. But anyway, so DCU Slate, some surprises, some interesting aspects to it. But first and foremost, you've got Superman Legacy. Superman Legacy anticipated to kind of roll out the DCU in the year 2025. I believe it's scheduled for July 11th, 2025. You're going to get a new Superman, supposedly a younger Superman, balancing his Kryptonian heritage and his life as a human in the Daily Planet and whatever his day-to-day is going to be. Not going to be Henry Cavill. It's going to be a recast, as is with another film, The Brave and the Bold, which is Batman and Damian Wayne. So Damian Wayne is Bruce Wayne's biological son, but he's very troubled, a troubled youth. So it's going to be interesting. This seems as if it's going to be more entertaining, not necessarily family-oriented, but definitely more of a blockbuster-esque film than I would say The Batman. And keep in mind, The Brave and the Bold is going to be a DCU film, whereas with a new Batman, and it's going to be independent of what they're calling Elseworlds, which are some of these films that don't necessarily fit in the DCU, but are still being made independently and with separate casts. So that includes The Batman, which is going to be having the sequel, The Batman 2, still with Robert Pattinson, but independent of the DCU. And we also have got The Joker, which I believe is scheduled for next year. So you're getting Superman Legacy, Brave and the Bold. You're getting a Supergirl movie, Woman of Tomorrow. It'll be interesting how that will go, but it looks to be more of an intergalactic type of storyline with Supergirl. Then you've got Swamp Thing, and the rumor is that James Mangold, the director of the upcoming Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, will potentially be directing that film. I think it's just a candidate of interest. So you've got Swamp Thing, more of a horror-oriented film, potentially directed by this great R-rated director who had done films like Logan and James Mangold. So you've got Swamp Thing as this more horror, potentially R-rated, or at least more darker themed movie that is still connected to the DCU. And of course, you've got The Authority, which is all these kind of horror monsters that are fighting and battling Nazis during World War II. So a bit of a period piece. That one seems to be more of a surprise standout, that unknown characters, but has the potential to kind of be a breakout hit like Guardians of the Galaxy. Unknown characters, but you've got Mummy, Frankenstein, all these different types of typical, well-known horror monsters that are all joining up together and fighting against the Nazis. So that seems like a surprise potential hit for me. That seems to be something out of the left field with unknown characters that are going to kind of grow and gain our attention from the audience, be kind of that surprise hit amongst the DCU. Now, there's other interesting pieces to it. You've got a series about Themyscira that's Paradise Lost. That's going to be an HBO Max series that seems to be more of a darker toned Wonder Woman origin story. Not sure how that's the best approach to kind of reintroduce a new Wonder Woman that's not the original Gal actress. It's going to be a new actress in this series. It looks to be more mature oriented, so bit odd that you're not going to get so many female superheroes in the films. This is going to be an HBO Max series focused on Themyscira, where Wonder Woman grew up. Seems to be almost an all-female cast, if not all-female cast. You've also got Amanda Waller, which looks to be actually Peacemaker 2, but just kind of now it's Amanda Waller. Continuing the cast from the previous season and potentially the movies. So it seems as if this new DCU is almost like a soft reboot of sorts, with certain things, most specifically anything that James Gunn created, directed, and produced, continuing on to the new DC universe. Not sure how that's going to really catch audiences. I think that is more of a niche audience, but I think this is more kind of throwing out there what succeeds, nothing yet unifying yet, and whatever works will continue and potentially be that unifying force, and they can always not continue with those strands that aren't working. And they've also announced Creature Commandos, which is an animated series. Again, looks to be something that's very specific. I'm not sure if it's really going to kind of grasp audiences, but you've got an animated series also on HBO Max, Creature Commandos, that's supposed to be connected to this newer DCU. On the side there, you've got a couple of news stories about Superman and Lois. So you've got Superman and Lois that has the potential now to last for another season or two. That is something that's currently on the CW. It's also replayed on HBO Max. It's a great show. I highly recommend it. I'll probably do a separate video on that as well. Superman and Lois, which, cheers to that. Another 2 seasons, Superman ice cream. Again, so good. So Superman and Lois having another season or two. So maybe extending that show to be potentially as much as 4 seasons. Is it more than that? 5 seasons. So we'll see how it goes. It seems to have the Smallville effect, which is having a Superman out there is better than having no Superman. So Superman and Lois, very interesting. I would have thought that they would have ended it with season 3. That's typically when contracts end for these series regulars, but I guess there's the opportunity for them to be renewed. Let's hope for it. Highly recommend, guys. Superman and Lois, watch that. That is separate from DCU. That is a separate project. That is a standalone universe, Superman and Lois on the CW. Next up, in terms of what was announced, you've also got, prior, as I identified, The Batman, and that's scheduled for release. I believe they identify about 2.5 years from now. So that's in October. I presume about 2025 is currently what it's scheduled for. Yeah. So you've got in October 2025, The Batman 2 comes out. They've already announced that projected release date. Also, most interesting in terms of the soft reboot nature of the DCU, you've got they kind of talked about how great one of the greatest movies of all superhero films of all time, as James Gunn identified, is The Flash, scheduled for this year. They're going to use that as a canonical kind of within the story, a way of rebooting the universe as they announced it. So that means that whatever happens in The Flash, even though this film was planned to do something different, are they going to readjust it so that it leads to this new universe where it makes sense now that The Flash has created this type of universe event, creating new superheroes, or at least new cast members in those roles, and different perceptions as to what's going on in that universe. So again, for those that are kind of looking through the Twitterverse, there have been screenings, previews of the Flash movie currently scheduled for this year in June of 2023. And there seemed to be some type of certainty as to how it was going to end, but maybe they're adjusting it to fit this universal reboot of sorts where, again, some things continue, some things don't. Afterward, you still have the Blue Beetle, and then you have Aquaman. So are these characters continuing into the new DCU? It looks like whatever sticks, whatever works may be continued. So whatever essentially is a success continues on. Whatever is not a success, they don't have to continue it. They could say that was the old universe. They could say that was Elseworlds. It seems to be they're making it up as they go. Are we going to have Ezra Miller as the Flash going forward? Who knows? I would bet my money on no, we wouldn't, given Ezra Miller's troubled history of sorts. So again, guys, covered a lot of ground there. Got to do another ice cream scoop for that. Excuse me, guys, on eating on camera, but again, awesome ice cream. So again, you've got Superman Legacy, Batman Brave and the Bold, or actually it's just called Brave and the Bold, The Authority, Swamp Thing, Supergirl in terms of film projects. You've got Creature Commandos animated series. You've got the HBO Max series for the Themyscira Paradise Lost. And you've also got Amanda Waller, and last but not least, which I forgot, is you've got a Green Lantern series with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, which is finally getting off the ground. That'll be exciting to see if audiences are able to kind of week after week continue with a Green Lantern series. You'd expect that to be an expensive series. They've already announced that these projects they're going to be pouring money into. So let's hope that Green Lantern catches audiences with its ring of power. And with that, guys, I hope you kind of like this kind of cold opening of being able to enjoy a nice scoop of Superman ice cream. Again, awesome, awesome ice cream. And my thoughts, my considerations as to the DCU. It'll be interesting to see. I would have hoped for a full reboot, but I don't think that we're really seeing what it's going to be yet, and they're still learning what it's going to be. They're going to continue with whatever's a success, and then whatever's not a success, whatever's not catching, they can just end that strand and start something new. It's going to be, from what I can tell, to bottom line it, constantly evolving. That does it for me, guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for joining, and go out and get some Superman ice cream right now. Bye, guys.